What is going on, guys? Happy Wednesday and welcome back to a brand new episode of Reality News, our place to talk about our favorite realities, virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. We have a ton of news to go over this week, guys, including a brand new round of leaks for the Apple AR glasses that we talked about last week, as well as the way that Oculus says happy anniversary to the Quest. But before we get started, guys, I'm gonna need you to stop and take a double take of my subscriber count right now, because guys, we did it. We have made it to triple digits. Last week you guys gave me so much love and support that we were able to break that 100 subscriber barrier, and I super appreciate it. If you guys would be so kind though, if you weren't a part of that first 100, it is totally cool. You can go ahead and subscribe now on our new goal to get 500 subs. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate anybody who wants to support the channel, as well as anyone who leaves a like on this video too, because it definitely helps me out. But yeah, let's get started in today's video. Last week, we were shown our first look at real-time PlayStation 5 gameplay and our first look at Epic's new Unreal Engine 5. UE5 boasts two new big features, the first being Nanite, a new geometry system that allows artists to upload their full movie quality assets to the engine that will then be downscaled as needed in real time, cutting production time for artists and allowing for an awesome amount of detail on close-up objects. The second feature they showed was the new Lumen lighting engine, which provides full real-time global illumination. This means that lighting in game can be moved around the world in real time and not quote-unquote baked, which means that the lighting is pre-calculated and will stay in the same place no matter where you move the light source, which can save on computer resources but prevent dynamic changes to the lighting. Both of these features are set to be scalable, so they can be used on a variety of platforms, so we'll have to see if it can be just as impressive on our mobile-based headsets as it is on the PS5. Also, knowing this was running on the PS5 gets me excited to see what visual improvements on the PSVR will look like next generation. As next-gen consoles get better than current-day mid-tier PCs, this is going to really open up a way for a larger number of players to experience mid to high-end tier VR experiences. Next, this week marks the 1-year anniversary of the Quest, so to celebrate, it seems like Oculus wanted to give the popular HMD a slew of new features. Last year, one of the coolest features introduced was the unveiling of Oculus Link, which gave you the ability to tether your Quest to a gaming PC and use it like a Rift to play more demanding games streamed to your headset. The downside to this was the fact that you would need to purchase a USB 3.0 cable to do so, and the proprietary solution that Oculus offered would run you $80. This all changed this week when Oculus announced they will be pushing an update to support Oculus Link via USB 2.0 cables, including the one that comes with the Quest for charging. This means that though they still recommend a 3.0 cable for best results, Oculus Link is now a feature available out of the box, making the Quest even more of a powerhouse contender in the VR space. Next, Oculus introduced the Playspace scan feature. This makes it so that the Quest Guardian system is now capable of detecting and excluding objects such as tables, chairs, and other objects you might accidentally collide with in game while your Guardian is set up. This new feature will also include color customization to Guardian, letting you pick between blue, purple, and yellow. I'm a risky player as I don't play with the Guardian system, but more control over customization is usually never a bad thing. Usually. Lastly, OC6 saw the introduction of hand tracking on the Quest. The feature has only been experimental up until now, but this week hand tracking moves out of beta and will be included as a full-fledged feature. From my understanding, once the update goes live, you should automatically have hand tracking selected if you start up your Quest without picking up your controllers. I personally don't have a Quest, but I do hear that the hand tracking has improved over time, so that's good news. That pretty much wraps up our trifecta of Quest stories. I will say that as a Rift player, it does make me a bit jealous that we don't have any of these features coming to our headset, at least that haven't been announced. The only thing that we can hope for is that with the success on the Quest, they'll see that people are really into it and that'll motivate them to expand it to both platforms. But I'm also not really holding my breath either. Our last and final story of today is Jon Prosser has come through with a whole new round of leaks on Apple's rumored AR glasses, so of course I had to share the news with you guys. Thankfully, Jon has laid out everything in some nice slides for us, so let's go over the info. So Jon says that the name for the Apple glasses is just going to be Apple Glass, which is kind of cool, but it also isn't that original seeing as how we've already had Google Glass. But honestly, I feel like you can't really get too creative with it, and we've already seen before that Apple's real simplistic with names like Apple Watch. The price is supposed to be somewhere around $499 plus whatever the cost of your prescription is, and this is only made possible because apparently all the data is going to be processed on the iPhone. I know in the last video I said I was pretty sure that these glasses would have a chip, which is what I thought going into this, but I was completely shocked as well to find that it seems like the iPhone is going to be doing all the processing. I don't know how I feel about it. He has a reputable track record before of getting things right, so maybe he is right on this. It just seems kind of weird, but I mean, if they are $499, I am all excited for that. I'd be super happy to pick one up. Now he says that the announcement for this is actually planned for Q4 of this year, but it may actually get pushed back to Q1 of 2021. Though that would definitely be a shame because that's a perfectly missed opportunity for a 2020 vision joke on Apple's part. But if it gets pushed back, I understand times are crazy right now, but come on, comedy comes first. After the announcement, it looks like we'll be waiting at least a year for these to actually be made available to the public, as he's saying that they won't come out until Q4 of 2021 or Q1 of 2022. I guess this kind of depends on whenever that announcement is. Next, he said that the prototype that he saw was plastic, but that the final material could actually change to something like metal, and that the final design could be different from what he saw, but they don't want to make anything that's too crazy. They want it to look like glasses. They want this to be completely unintimidating to the average customer. Next, he said that there was a LiDAR on the right temple, but that there was no other cameras present, at least that he saw in the most recent prototype, and he believes that they're doing this for privacy concerns. I definitely understand that, though as someone with a VR headset with 5 cameras on it, it is hard for me to imagine having like inside out tracking and having it really accurate without something like multiple cameras around it, but I guess we'll see how Apple ends up implementing this. Next, he says that the glasses will be charged wirelessly by placing them upside down on a plastic stand that wirelessly charges, as well as the displays are actually in both of the lenses, so they won't just be in one corner like the previous Google Glass. I actually tried those a few years ago on happenstance, and even though it was kind of cool, it was very noticeable, and it wasn't really in your direct vision. It was slightly to your peripheral, and it wasn't the greatest experience. He doesn't mention anything about the field of view. I know for us in the community, that's the only thing we want to hear. What's the field of view? But hopefully we'll have more information as this actually comes online. Also, the UI for the glasses is called Starboard. I mentioned that in the previous video, but the UI in the iPhones is known as Springboard, so this one's going to be Starboard. Just another cool name for it. The next feature I actually think is really cool. He says that the glasses are going to be controlled via gestures on and in front of the device. So there will probably be some type of touchpad or sensitivity on the glasses itself that we can touch, but also the fact that we can do it in front of the glasses makes me think that there will be some type of, hand tracking or something along those lines in order to maybe swipe away notifications, scroll through text messages. It would be crazy if you could even type, but that might be something for a later generation on these glasses, maybe not the first gen. Next, he says that the glasses can scan some type of proprietary Apple QR codes. He doesn't really go into detail about what these actually do or what the codes are for, so I don't have a ton of information myself. I can make a couple of guesses, but I doubt this would be for any type of tracking in the glasses themselves, because what would happen if, say, you were walking down the street and someone just held up a code that your glasses could recognize? Would that then throw off the tracking? I'm not really sure what these are for, so we'll hopefully find out more about it, and maybe this is just something that they're using in testing right now. Next, he says that the displays themselves have issues with sunglass lenses, so as of right now, when they actually release, they're probably only going to work with just regular clear lenses, which might be a bummer for some, but I don't think it's that huge of a deal. So the last thing that he details is the fact that the 2020 iPad Pro and the iPhones that are coming out later this year are all going to be collecting information for the Apple Glass team via the LiDAR sensors that they have built in. They're going to be taking all that use case and all that information that they collect and using that to get the LiDAR sensor correct and the tracking and everything right for the Apple glasses. I still don't know how I feel about them not using any cameras, and we still don't know for sure if all of this information is correct, but I guess I'll feel differently once we actually see a video or, someone actually using them. He did say that he was working with a lawyer to see if he could get the go-ahead on releasing a leaked video of the glasses in use, which I definitely want to get my hands on, but I think that's that's going to be the biggest factor in determining, are these glasses going to be just a gimmick? Kind of like Magic Leap is. I know Magic Leap isn't a gimmick company, but there was so much hype behind them that when they actually put out a product, it really wasn't that amazing or that groundbreaking in comparison to something like, you know, the HoloLens, which was already doing the same thing. But I really want to see if this turns into something that people actually want to use and wear every day, in the same way they use their iPhone, in the same way that they use their Apple Watch or whatever, you know, smartphone brand that you are accustomed to right now. If this thing can pick up everyday use with regular people, with my grandma, with my parents, with, you know, just Joe Schmo on the street who doesn't care about following tech news, that is going to make the biggest difference for the explosion of money and ingenuity that goes into augmented reality glasses and goes into mixed and virtual reality, because they all use the same technology. They're all building off of one another. So if one succeeds, you know, it's going to raise the ships for everybody else, and I'm really excited to see that. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this, because Apple's actually surprisingly divisive. I know that they're a company that a lot of people really love and a lot of people really hate. So let me know down in the comments below, you know, what your thoughts are on all the news that we found out about the leaks on the AR glasses, or any of the other stories, whether it was our trifecta of Quest news or what you think about the Unreal Engine. And speaking of comments, I actually want to go over this week's comment of the day. This comment comes from Randy Vasquez, and buckle up because it's kind of a long one. He says, "Dope, good episode. Once the Apple sheep get their hands on these glasses, it's all over for you normies. We'll see the push of AR, VR, MR happen then. Oculus, for example, is like Tesla. It's a known brand, but it's still a gimmick." I hate that word. It wasn't until Tesla showed back-to-back profitable quarterly earnings that they were no longer considered a niche. Likewise, once a major trusted brand like Apple puts out a dedicated AR device, it'll validate Oculus and no longer come off as a niche. This segment of tech will then be validated and taken seriously. Exciting times ahead. Now, for transparency's sake, I do want to say that Randy Vasquez is actually a really good friend of mine. I didn't pick his comment for that reason. I actually picked it because I agree with what he's saying. You know, we see a lot of times it takes a big company putting a lot of time and resources into something for everyone else to hop in the bandwagon. And I think the most clear example of that is when Valve decided to release Half-Life Alyx. It then brought all these people who didn't care about VR into the space. Also, on another transparency note, Randy actually does the music for John Prosser's YouTube channel, Front Page Tech. I don't get any special information. I don't know John, and I've never met him, so there's no conflict of interest or anything like that, but I just wanted to let you guys know in case you went over to check out the video that I linked down below. But with that, guys, that wraps up another episode of Reality News. Thank you so much for making it to the end. If you guys made it this far, please leave a like on the video. And if you're new to my channel, if this is your first time, or maybe you've been lurking and you wanted to watch the videos but you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we just hit 100 subscribers. I'm on my way to try to make it to 500, and it really helps me out. It's super encouraging. I'm up super late recording this right now, and I'm not gonna get a ton of sleep once this goes up, but it makes it all worth it when I see you guys enjoy the video. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Wednesday, a great rest of your week, and God bless you. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.